Hi, everyone. Welcome to our town hall today. We've got a little bit of a different focus and message of gratitude to you all. So I'm hoping you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy your time with us this afternoon. I think we have some great messages. So this meeting is taking place on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional gathering place of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Every time we acknowledge this truth, we have an invitation and an opportunity to reflect on what we do and what we can do to make Manitoba a better place for everyone who lives here. Thank you for being considerate and mindful of our true history. I want to invite you all to take a few minutes to leave behind the thoughts that are inevitably taking up space in your mind, to clear the way and to open your heart to the space and these people that are with you today. So together at your own pace, please, I invite you to take 3 deep breaths and then we'll get started. Thanks, everyone. So we've lived through almost 2 years of uncertainty, constant change, fear, anxiety, and today I'm grateful for the opportunity to thank you and share some of my thoughts and support for the coming months. But before we get into our program for the day, at town halls, we also like to give an opportunity for people to ask questions. So we're actually going to change the format a little bit and invite you to put your questions forward now. So we're going to take a few minutes to do that. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. One is to raise your hand, to use the raise your hand function. And the other is to put it in the chat. So I'll just give everybody just a couple of minutes to first think of your question and either put your hand up or again, put it in the chat. And the questions, I think we're basically saying wide open. Do you have any questions about COVID, the organization, anything that you just are curious about? Hopefully we can answer them today.
We have a couple that came in before the meeting, John, so I can read
Okay.
them out.
Sure.
So the first one is, why are people being told to get a booster?
Okay. So my understanding of, and probably Sarah, our director of of HTS could answer this more from a medical perspective, but the booster is really about strengthening, right? Our ability to kind of fight the ongoing variants that come forward. So I think we have lots of information on our website. And I know we've had lots of discussion. I think that that it's about protecting ourselves and it's about protecting the people that we support every day by making sure that we have that booster.
We've got, if we're no longer contact tracing, can we remove the sign-in binders in the CRP homes?
So we haven't discussed that yet at Pandemic, but if it's okay with everyone here, what I would suggest is that we'll take that question to our Pandemic Planning Committee meeting and discuss whether or not that is possible. I know I just had a visit at one of the homes yesterday and I signed in, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Any other questions?
Yeah, we've got a few more. Why didn't St.Amant allow rapid testing for the small minority that didn't want to get vaccinated, especially since we're all donning full PPE?
Yeah, so for those of you who were kind of with us during that journey that started last summer when we kind of looked at our options, we were pretty clear when we considered the rationale for why we believed that mandatory vaccination was the right way to go for our organization. A couple of really important points. One is that we support children who at that time, many of them were, and still today, some of the under 5 kids cannot get vaccinated. So we saw that group as being incredibly vulnerable, and the responsible thing to do was to have staff vaccinated who are going to provide support and care to them on a daily basis. The other, one of the other issues that we looked at was all of the people that we support in the community. In order for them to be able to access restaurants, to go to a concert or a sporting event, the only way that they would be able to access those events was to have a support worker, their staff, being fully vaccinated. So for us, it was about health, which I spoke to, and I know I used the example of the children because we saw them because incredibly vulnerable, but everybody was vulnerable. We have individuals with complex health needs, and so anything we can do to protect them from the virus is, in our minds, the responsible thing to do. So maybe I'll just pause there.
Okay, we've got a question that came in. When will the doors be unlocked for the secondary building door?
Again, we are looking at a number of, we've had questions around when can we have in-person meetings? When are we going to be able to kind of travel more freely? All of those questions are being looked at over the next number of weeks. We have our pandemic committee, and then we also have a committee that's, throughout the whole pandemic, looking at space issues and office space, et cetera, meeting space, all of those issues. As I tried to kind of say in the last communication to staff last week, we really need to be mindful at this time as we start to open up. I know the provincial government is being clear about what steps it's taking. And we as an organization has responsibility for kids and adults that have a different level of vulnerability than the regular or normal population at times. We have that extra responsibility to make sure that as we open up, that we do that responsibly, that we listen to the different voices within our organization, the people we support, their families, you as staff members, and everybody. Many of us are at different places, so we need to, I think, do that with kind of respect for each other and kind of caution, and within the context that I just said of the people that we support. So decisions will be made and communicated over the next number of weeks.
I think that kind of covers this question too around guidance or knowledge of upcoming changes to the PPE that staff will have to wear while at work.
Yeah, so I can tell you today we have no changes to PPE. We continue to ask staff to wear PPE, and just because the mask mandate has been removed, I think it's March 15th by the province, that is independent of what St.Amant will decide to do as we go forward. But I can assure you, we will be considering any opportunity to make changes. It is not our goal to have everybody wearing full PPE, forever. But we do need to really look at, who is vulnerable, what our situation is. Do we have some people that are still positive that we are supporting? And the answer today is yes, we do. So we need to be very cautious in kind of how we proceed, but we will.
And I think you addressed the when is there a plan for people who are working at home to return to work? And I think we're moving to a hybrid work environment, so it depends. For some people that might look different, but
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think the way we talked about it was that when we talked about returning to normal, the normal that we're talking about will be different than what it was for some people before COVID. So it doesn't mean that everybody just automatically goes back to their office or or that the situation is exactly the same as it was. But we will we'll work through that, and we'll hopefully be able to answer everybody's question through in the next month or two.
There's a question about being allowed to use the gym. Staff, why are staff not allowed to use the gym, but a resident is? We pay for the gym membership. It was built by the foundation. We are the only facility. I can't go down fast enough. In Winnipeg, that the gym is not open for staff.
Yeah, so not to get too much into detail, but I think one thing I would say is that our gym is within a healthcare facility, and that is somewhat unique. If it was in a separate building where the people from Health and Transition Services weren't living, then we could probably make different decisions. But there will continue to be, because we're part of long-term care, and so the health orders and health guidelines that we must follow from the Department of Health, those are dictated specifically for the people that are supported within HTS, and the gym is within that space. So you probably will continue to see a limited access to the gym, until things open up more widely from a public health perspective within health facilities.
There's a question whether we would provide refunds for the gym.
I'm just gonna be really honest. I can't answer that today. I would commit to kind of taking that away and kind of looking at how that's working for people right now, and can get back to you.
Okay, there's a couple of questions that are very specific to health and transition, and so I'm going to send those directly to Sarah to take back to her team to answer.
Okay.
There's another one about can we make it so that we can get out of the secondary building without a card? I think we said we would take that to the pandemic committee to review.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay, sorry, I'm trying to keep the participant window and the chat window open at the same time. I don't see anybody's hand up. And I don't think I'm seeing any new questions. If I've missed something, someone please tell me. Okay, good questions. Lots of good questions about what's going to happen next. And I think we're all really wondering that for sure.
Yeah, I think the one commitment that we do want to make is that as we make decisions, we're going to be very, we want to listen to kind of everyone and then make kind of decisions with the right rationale behind them, and at a pace that we can all kind of work through. So are we okay to move on?
We have one more question. Sorry, I must have missed this one. So what is the St.Amant's stance on approving international travel for professional development, example, conference attendance?
So we have not, to my knowledge, had any requests over quite a few months now for that type of consideration, but I love to receive them. And then can you give us a chance to look at that? As travel opens up, I think it's much less of a concern. Travel, is managed through the decisions of the federal government and our provincial government, and there is considerable opening up there, even around people being able to travel for vacations, etc. So I would hope we would be able to work with that, but it also probably depends on where people are traveling, when, etc. But yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So now, in the past, we've shared videos with you at Town Hall. So that kind of reflect our work and our lives over the past few years. So today we've combined a few of those, and I'd now like you to turn your attention to our first video.
I don't know, you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. For your selflessness, my admiration. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound. I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 You've been so kind and generous. I don't know how you keep on giving. For your kindness, I'm in debt to you. And I never could have come this far without you. For everything you've done, you know I'm bound to thank you for it. La 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 la
Boy, that feels good to see so many people that I haven't seen in person for a long time. And yeah, that was very nice. So in reflecting back over the last 2 years, it's almost hard to believe what we've all been through. Our collective trauma is undoubtedly going to be seen and felt for years to come. We've missed out on many milestones in our lives. We've witnessed loneliness and isolation with the people we support, their families, and some staff have also experienced that personally. And yet, when I think of St.Amant and all of you, it's remarkable what has shined through. Together, somehow we've made the best of the most difficult situation. All of you held the people we support and each other. You prioritized care and compassion over negativity and strife. I just want to take a few moments and touch upon some of your amazing work and the way that you all showed up. So just to start, 109 moves related to COVID with all of the logistical and technological requirements to go with it. Whole departments removed from one building to another. The construction of a 160-foot wall finished on both sides in 10 days to separate health and transition services from the community programs. We built 2 interior COVID visitation rooms to the shared health specifications. We did a complete shift to virtual training, which has seen over 2,500 seats filled in corporate training by St.Amant staff and over 150 external seats, including volunteers, practicum students, and external people. The Beyond Limits conference shifted to virtual and has had over 700 external and 250 internal registrants. We co-hosted the family and friends Christmas party. We created a Pen Pals program, and we transitioned those pals to a virtual program. We created 900 imagination kits for people supported by St.Amant, including the respite and foster programs. We launched a COVID support line for mental wellness for people we support and families of people with disabilities. We developed a self-care YouTube video for remote clients. Once the autism classrooms reopened, there was not one classroom closure. We expanded the delivery of fulfilling potential workshops to a virtual platform and delivered presentations to over 1,000 individuals within Manitoba and abroad. We maintained our workforce during autism program shutdown with daily sunrise announcements that kept staff connected and engaged. We used our 3D printer to support PPE needs. We quickly pivoted to virtual services in the school, autism programs, and in clinical services. Our community residential programs continued to welcome new people into service. We supported people at the end of life during some very challenging times. We were able to welcome new people with urgent needs. We developed aging training and resources, a work in progress, but vital for our future. Gary's regular phone calls to a number of people to check in on them and how he helped people stay connected. The Be Like Gary mug. The creativity of virtual birthday parties and celebrations that staff planned so that people could celebrate together and recognize their milestones, which included memorial and funeral services for those we have lost. So many examples of people being outdoors with nature in ways they had never experienced before. Lots of outdoor makeshift movie theaters with projectors on garage walls, picnics, bonfires, and river walks. The Holiday Wish Book and Gift Book campaign organized by Volunteer Services and Corporate Services. The PPE video, You Down with PPE. The 6 Feet Apart contest in Health and Transition Services. The incredible turn around on setting up the HTS red zone, then just as quickly taking it down. Manitoba's first ever drive-through vaccine clinic and the pediatric clinics that followed. So many dogs, bubbles, and immunizers who were superheroes. Getting the visitation shelter into place. The continued flow of people supported in and out of health and transition services. Our IT team transitioning hundreds of staff to work remotely and supporting and maintaining connectivity pretty much seamlessly. Hundreds of staff started working off their couches, their kitchen tables, and productivity did not wane. Setting up an asymptomatic testing clinic for staff with only days' notice. Hosted 156 virtual events funded by the foundation, organized and run by Volunteer Services. Kept an entire volunteer workforce engaged remotely with ongoing connection and virtual opportunities. The parade that CRP hosted for Health and Transition Services. The drive-by graduations organized by St.Amant grads. The activity kits Jordan's principal staff organized and shipped to many communities around Manitoba. The moving Sunday church services online, and we never missed a one. The hundreds of daily and weekly communications sent to staff and families. The hundreds of PPE kits assembled and never-ending questions and wayfinding supporting through our reception area. The overall way staff showed up for the people they support, particularly at the beginning when everyone was so fearful. And the incredible flexibility of everyone with the barrage of changes and the different ways of doing things. And just to note, this list was abbreviated for time. There are no shortage of accomplishments through the pandemic. I personally have been quite overwhelmed by the good that I've seen. So much so that we couldn't capture every creative act that sparked hope and joy. Many of those moments were in individual interactions between you and the people we support, and also between co-workers. Each of us cares deeply about our work and the people we are supporting, and our response to the pandemic demonstrates our caring, compassion, and commitment. I truly cannot find the words to say thank you. The inspiration and respect I feel for each of you is enormous. And this is not to say that we don't have trauma that we're going to be taking forward and that we're going to be leaning on each other for as we move forward. But in the face of adversity, I am incredibly proud of how this organization responded and how you've been there day in, day out, making a huge difference. When we all look back in history and you share with your family and friends what you were doing during the pandemic of 2020, I hope you know that you all changed lives. Your care, compassion, and commitment is part of the story for everyone that we support. Without you, without your dedication and perseverance, the outcomes could have been very grave. There are others who also want to share their thanks.
Thank you is not just words. It's an emotional phrase that sometimes it's hard for words to describe. And so, which is something unknown to me, I have written down a few things because as you can tell, this is a very emotional time. So not only for myself as the co-chair of the Family Association, but also as Jonathan Fairclaw's mom, you know, just having this opportunity to share our gratitude to everyone in the St.Amant organization. And I really appreciate this opportunity for, you know, the commitment and the dedication, just in the care, support, and protection and service to our loved ones. This has been unprecedented times in our lives for all of us. And I just really thank all of the people in the St.Amant organization and their families for firstly getting vaccinated, and for the organization to allow family members and all of our family members to get vaccinated at clinics. And we did take that opportunity. So that was really wonderful. And I just, I just want to say thank you for just showing up under very difficult times, under very difficult circumstances, and just really going that extra mile. And believe me, I for sure have recognized that. So I just wanted to say, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because it's really hard to put into words the emotions that we feel when we know that our loved ones are cared for, supported, and protected by all of you. Because really, for me and for many of I would say speak for all of the families, you become our St.Amant family. So you really are extended family in so many ways. And just as John's mom, I just wanted to say on a personal note that in this pandemic, with all the public health directives that have been part of our lives, it's meant that for me, I haven't been able to see Jonathan. And that's been a struggle. And I guess what I know is that I've had to put my trust of his care and into all of your hands. So I am seeing him through your eyes. I am hugging him through your care, and however that is shown. And that has brought me peace of mind. It has brought me comfort. And that's precious. So I think this is really timely that we have a chance and an opportunity to say thank you and to recognize, because we're all in this together and we're all heroes in all of our many ways. I've learned patience. I've learned compassion. And I've had faith and trust that we will get through this. We will be stronger by all of this, and we'll have a deeper appreciation in the human spirit. And I think that kind of sums it up. Thank you again. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
To all the volunteer directors of the board and all the dedicated and amazing staff of St.Amant, my name is Josie and my sister is Kathy, who lives in 3 West. I'm so pleased to take this opportunity on behalf of Kathy and my family to extend my heartfelt thank you for all you do at St.Amant during these challenging times. Particular thanks and appreciation to the remarkable staff of 3 West. We know and feel confident that Kathy is receiving the best care and attention. I would like to make a special mention of the thoughtful video chats that have been coordinated during these restrictive times. In closing, I often express my thoughts by saying, there is only one St.Amant. Thank you and blessings to all. Josie Lucidi and Joe Romeo. I would like to thank all employees, especially those who are from 3 West, where my daughter Alea usually stays while on respite. They made her stay safe, comfortable, and happy. They always give her what she likes and see to it that she receives her medications on time. To the pharmacy staff, who never fail to check with us on our medications and to see if everything is updated. To Miranda Alari, who gives us updates on respite dates. To Sharon Tan and Urian Vandenhever, who see to it that my daughter has all the equipment and devices that suit her needs. Most especially to Stefan Guzzi, who is always there to support us. He saw the importance of respite and never failed to hear us. He is an angel. He is the best social worker that we ever work with. Respite gives our family a way to enjoy life without feeling any guilt for leaving our daughter behind. We also feel confident on how she is taken care of while we are away and knows that she is safe. Respite is a beautiful program for families like us. Thank you for this opportunity. Amalia Santiago.
We just wanted to thank everybody at St.Amant, especially the autism program. What you guys do day in and day out, especially during this pandemic, has been amazing. We're forever grateful. You've changed our lives, and we look forward to sending our youngest Ko in there in a few months. cross our fingers. But we can't thank you enough. Please stay strong and healthy and keep doing everything that you're doing because you guys are amazing human beings.
A huge virtual hug to all the St.Amant staff, as you are awesome, as you care deeply for our loved ones. We know that you had your challenges and fears for your own health and your own families in these past months and future. There are not enough words to express the gratitude we have for each of you as you tenderly care for everyone. Wishing you health and joy in your life and your families. Carmen and Brian Heinrichs.
My daughter Carmen lives at the home on Fleury Place. The staff is just so wonderful. I could not ask for any better. They are loving, caring, considerate, hard-working individuals. I have complete faith and trust in each and every one. I thank God for them. Bless you all, Carmen's mom and dad, Sharon and George Middlestead. It's been very trying times this last while. You all made the world of difference. We appreciate the hard work and compassion shown every day. Thank you, Brian McKay and Ann Fountain.
The staff at the Templeton home where my son Kevin lives has done an excellent job during the past 2 years. They should all be complimented. I am so happy and thankful and grateful Kevin is there with a caring and loving staff. Love, Inez Rosen.
Please pass along a huge thank you from Paul and I for all of the dedication and hard work from everyone at Riel, current and past. You have stepped up, are appreciated for getting Paul through 2 of the most challenging years of his life. You hung in there through masks, funny flowered gowns, goggles, and gloves. Not an easy task. Many thanks. Judy Redmond.
My daughter has lived at Simpson Avenue for almost 9 years. For most of this time, Debbie, Alona, and Sherilyn have been her companions with endless patience and understanding. Kudos to their staying power. The whole team has been exceptional in their care during challenging times. Every day, I am grateful to these thoughtful women. Renata.
I really appreciate the opportunity to send a huge thank you to the Wall Street afternoon class. Adriana and her staff were amazing. Their hard work does not go unnoticed. Thanks again and lots of love from the Jessups.
My husband and I are very thankful for the wonderful care at Darwin given to my son. We are grateful that he has been so well looked after. Debbie and Omar Carrier.
We would like to express our gratitude to the staff at Cormorant Bay. Our son is well cared for and valued. The team leader, Martine, always keeps us informed and we work together on any issues. They are all very much appreciated. Pat and Jim Burns.
We have always found the staff to have empathy. During these COVID times, it must have been very difficult to handle all of the calls from the caregivers and parents of the residents worrying about their loved ones. We appreciate all your patience. Thank you. The staff has always been available for calls and for timely callbacks. Kelly always looked cared for, and her clothes and her hair were always looked like the staff were looking after her. It was really hard, especially in the beginning when we could not see Kelly. Our fares were always there, but the staff with their smiles made us feel that Kelly was safe right now. That is all we can ask for now and in the future.
The staff are always upbeat and smiling from ear to ear. We appreciated all the updates from staff and management every week. We also have come to realize what the staff had to incur with overtime when other staff could not. It must have been exhausting, and yet they carried on. Our Kelly is lucky to have such fine and caring staff looking after her. Thank you, merci, to the angels of St.Amant.
I have 2 daughters in residences in St.Amant, at Templeton and Greenwood. This is what I would like to say to them. I appreciate the dedication of the staff that support my daughters through this very difficult time. I also appreciate the administration and their informative, informational, and even inspiring emails to staff and people supported. I want to give special thanks to the direct support workers who put their health on the line every shift that they work. Their affection and commitment have helped my girls to cope with the restrictions, anxiety, and change in so many comforting routines and activities with a minimum of stress. My girls and those who love them feel very blessed to have our girls under their care. Thank you. Phil Vaness.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Lowe, and my daughter Rowan is supported in the community residential program at Weaver. And I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you to all of you and all the work you've been doing. I can't even imagine what it's been like. I look out today and it's a snow day. I don't have to go out of my house, and the only thing I can think about is how incredibly grateful I am for all of you and how you show up to work every day. I know these times have been crazy in the last couple of years. This winter has been insane for our weather. And you always leave your house and shovel a walk to get in to my daughter and to take care of her. And to take care of her in a very real way. She doesn't understand social distancing, the concept of having a snow day and not being able to go with her routine is very difficult. And you always rally, you always make a game of it, make sure she gets a little bit of exercise, make sure she has a little bit of fun. And I just can't begin to thank you for all of that. As I sit here in my cozy house and think about all of you taking care of her, I'm very, very grateful. Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Well, that was just awesome. I hadn't seen that before, so that was so very nice to hear from many of the families that we are involved with. So we know as an organization and all of us together that we're on a bit of a healing journey here as we hopefully come out and exit this COVID experience. And we're going to do that together. And as an organization, we are committed to helping individuals from a mental health perspective and from an overall wellness perspective. So it's now my pleasure to introduce and welcome both Andrew Turhock and Michelle Everton to share a little bit of information on wellness today.
Thank you, John. Can you hear me okay? Good. My heart is full. As I reflect on that, how that video makes me feel, the gifts that were celebrated in each and every staff member and volunteer member of our community who met that potential for immense suffering that the families each felt with love and care, not to always make it fully go away, but to create a balm so that they could feel a sense of safety and a sense of gratitude. That was created by the hearts of each one of you and everyone who's not here. We're going to shine a light on those gifts that the family celebrated in a moment. But before I do, I invite you just to take a couple breaths and just notice how you're feeling right now. Perhaps your heart is full. Just honor it feels that way because of a tremendous amount of goodness. Maybe take a moment just to feel your seat underneath you again. Take a couple of breaths if that feels right for you. This reflection that I'm going to share and we're going to do together, something I shared previously, I think most recently with the leaders group, but it's probably almost a year ago. It was last June, I believe. This reflection invites us to celebrate our gifts, our wisdom, all that we are grateful for, that has been instilled in us by our greatest teachers, our loved ones that care about us most deeply. And so you can participate in this in whatever degree you like. If it feels right for you, you can find the most comfortable position. You can rest your eyes if you like. You can close them if you like. Offer yourself another calm, full breath in. Give yourself permission to let your mind and your heart rest. Just feel your breath rising and falling in your body. If you like, you can place a hand on your heart to remind yourself of the celebration of love that we just had shared with us by the families of the people we support. Now I want you to allow your awareness to find its way to a safe place in your imagination. Perhaps this is a favorite room in your home, a summer garden, a winter trail. Perhaps it's a forest. Perhaps it's an imaginary place, just somewhere that feels safe for you, feels comfortable for you. Offer yourself to savor a couple of breaths as you visualize this place clearly in your mind's eye. This place where you feel at peace and safe. Let yourself linger there for a moment and enjoy the comfort of that space. And as you imagine yourself in this space, soon a visitor will arrive into your safe space, your peaceful space. This is a warm and compassionate presence. A figure who embodies for you the qualities of love and wisdom, compassion and care, friendship. It might be a group of visitors. Could be a wise teacher from your past. Perhaps a dear grandparent, an elder. Somebody who fully embodies the qualities of love and wisdom. Allow yourself to just picture their presence, see the image of them, or perhaps they are just a light or a symbol of some sort. Allow yourself to see this presence there with you, right there in your imagination. Recognize that this compassionate companion cares deeply about you, wishes the best for you, knows you so well. Perhaps you start to see details of them that you remember, important details. Their face, their dress, the way they stand or sit. Allow yourself to just breathe calmly, maybe allow a smile to come to the corners of your mouth, allowing yourself to savor their presence. And as you see them here before you, you have a choice. You may go out from this safe spot in which you rest to meet them or invite them in. If you like, take that opportunity in your imagination to Get closer to them and place yourself in just the right way, perhaps standing or sitting close to them, perhaps across from them at a short distance. Settle in with them, this trusted, wise, and loving companion. Allow yourself to feel what it's like to be in their company. Nothing you need to do except experience the way it feels to be alongside them, with them in this moment. This being who is important to you. And in their presence, allow yourself to feel that unconditional love and compassion that they have for you. Just soak it in. To whatever level you like. If you can't fully feel that from them, that's okay too. They know and feel your gratitude anyhow. This compassionate friend of yours is wise and all-knowing. This being knows exactly where you are in your life right now. And this friend wishes to share some words with you, or a word with you, something that you need to hear right now. This friend wishes to remind you of a quality in you, a value in you that is so important to the world. Perhaps this is a quality that they taught you, a value that they taught you, something that you honor in them. Take a moment and listen carefully to what words or word your compassionate visitor is reminding you of. If no words come, that's okay too. Just continue to experience their presence, offering them yours. This in itself is a blessing. Perhaps you'd like to say something in return to your visitor. Perhaps express gratitude to them for this quality in you, which you value, which in some ways was passed to you as a gift from them. This value in you that they, here before you today, are reminding you is an important part of who you are. We let go of these words now, and we simply allow ourselves to savor for a few more moments the good company of this compassionate friend. We may smile towards them as they smile back at us. And as we look at them, grateful for what they have reminded us of today, we remember that these qualities that they have spoken about, these qualities and gifts, are in you. All of the compassionate feelings, images, and words that you have shared in your meditation with this compassionate being are yours. They come from your heart. As you acknowledge these gifts in you with a smile of gratitude at the corners of your mouth, Gratitude for your friend and the wisdom they have gifted to you. Gratitude for your gifts. Even in difficult times, they are right there in you. And gratitude for this time of taking care. Gratitude for this time together. And with a calm, full, easy breath in and out, we release this practice. And when we're ready, if our eyes are closed, we can gently and slowly open them and just sit for a moment, feeling however we feel, experiencing ourselves as we are. As I reflected on this exercise for today, this little piece of writing came my way. I'd like to read it for you. It very much celebrates the messages from the families that were shared earlier. We begin so aware and grateful. The sun somehow hangs there in the sky. The little bird sings. The miracle of life just happens. And then we stub our toe. And in the moment of pain, the whole world is reduced to our poor little toe. Now for a day or two, it's difficult to walk. With every step, we are reminded of our poor little toe. Our vigilance becomes, which defines our day? The pinch we feel in walking on a bruised toe, or the miracle still happening around us? This, for me, shines a light on the importance of taking time to celebrate the gifts that we all hold in our hearts. These are the gifts that has kept this community well and thriving amidst the most difficult 2 years of our lives. These are the gifts that have nurtured and created the gratitude that all of those families have shared earlier with us. There are many moments in a day, and so it's important we take time to shine a light on our gifts, to practice gratitude, not only for what is around us, but for what is in us, for the gifts that we hold that we must offer others. As John said, this changes the world. Each moment we show up, however we are, partly brokenhearted, partly full-hearted, we change the world. Every human does when they allow themselves to be vulnerable and share their gifts at the very same time. In 2 years, there are just over 1.05 million minutes, over 500,000 minutes in a year. We're going to share a little video now that asks us to think about those minutes. What do we do with the moments? And where are we creating space and time for our gifts to shine? We need to do this. This is important for our spiritual health, to bring our gifts forward. But it's so important for the world, for us all to feel like we have a place to do that. And so I'm going to invite Chris now to share the video we have to play.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days, If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities, and another 720 days will go to community activities, like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
I'm grateful for this place I have in a community. And I'm grateful for the chance to work for an organization that allows us to ask questions like this and gives us the space to, and the encouragement to take time for ourselves. And I invite you to as well. Take a moment every day to do something for you. Not only because it's important, but above all else, you are deserving. We all are. So with that, I'm going to invite Michelle to join me here and share some additional things.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks. That was a really beautiful meditation and reflection. And I have to say that I'm quite grateful that you spoke first after watching that video from the families, because I was left a little bit speechless after that and needed a moment to take that in. So thank you. With our discussion today on community and connections and what our experience over the course of the pandemic has been like, I thought it'd be sort of interesting to see for those of us here in the meeting today, what our experience has been over the course of the pandemic and how we shared some common things. So this is a little bit interactive. So we're going to need your help to answer some polls. We're going to launch a series of polls and ask you some questions about what you've been up to over the last couple of years. And then we're just going to see the results live. So we know what's happened for us as a community here. The responses are anonymous, so there's no way to tell who answered what. So I hope you'll just feel comfortable answering whatever way is the right fit for you. You can answer or choose as many options as you like. So if you find that one or more of the options fit for you, you can choose all of them. And if you have any trouble with the polls, you can always pop your answers in the chat. But just know that your answers in the chat are connected to your username or your profile. So those aren't quite as anonymous, but you're certainly welcome to communicate that way as well. So Laura is going to help me control the questions. So I'm going to ask her to pop up the first one. And she's just going to show us the answers after it looks like most people have answered. Okay, so you should be able to see your first poll question there now. So your first question is, which of the following pandemic trends have you tried, if any? So your options are baking sourdough bread, watching the Tiger King. Did you try the Dalgona or whipped coffee trend? Have you adopted a pet or a plant? Or have you tried jigsaw puzzles or Wordle? So we're going to give a few seconds for people to respond to that. I'm not a big hobby person, but I have recently gotten into Wordle. Have you tried it, Andrew?
No, I haven't. I did get involved both in the puzzles and the first round of Tiger King, but I just couldn't bring myself to watching the second round of Tiger
I know
King.
there's some new Tiger King stuff popping up I've seen, but yeah, you got to try Wordle.
Yeah, apparently I have. Juliet says, and the French version, Le Mot.
Le Mot, yeah, okay.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I have continued with puzzles though. It's a great practice for resting the mind. And Nerdle, the math version.
That's new. I haven't heard of
Nerdle
that
and
one.
Wordle.
Nerdle and Wordle. Yeah, the number ones are not so much my thing, but the words I can do.
All right, there's our
Okay, we've got our first
results.
results up. Okay, so remember you could have answered more than one, so the numbers don't add up to 100%, but it looks like we've got some pretty common experiences here. So lots of us have tried just jigsaw puzzles or Wordle, or adopted a pet or a plant, and watching the Tiger King, those all scored about the same. Not so much baking the bread or trying the coffee. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So we'll get the next one up there. Okay, our second question, we're shifting gears a little bit. Which life events have you missed during the pandemic? Your options are a milestone birthday or an anniversary, a wedding, a funeral, a birth, or a vacation. So I think I've missed all of these, not necessarily all mine, but for somebody else, maybe in my family, some births, I've missed a funeral, I've had to put off some vacations. It's been a really challenging time, I think. That's been one of the most frustrating things about the pandemic, is just not being able to gather together and plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I've missed them all except the wedding. I don't think so. My dearest uncle out in Vancouver died during the pandemic, and so I look forward to going and spending time at the place where he's laid to rest. But I definitely found that difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me as well. My great aunt lived to 105 and passed away last year, and unfortunately, we weren't able to gather to celebrate her life, but hope to do that this year.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so some results up here again. So everybody has experienced different life events that we missed over the course of the pandemic. So the most common one appears to be a vacation, followed by a milestone birthday or an anniversary. And many people have missed a wedding or a funeral or a birth as well. So I'm really sorry for the people who weren't able to gather with your families and celebrate life and love. That's really challenging, and I hope that changes this year.
Yeah.
So I'll get the next question. Thank you so much. How many Zoom birthday parties or baby showers have you attended in the past couple of years? So you might have to estimate a little bit on these ones, but you might have attended none, around 1 to 5, maybe about 6 to 10, or maybe you feel like you've attended too many at this point. I think the Zoom parties are a little bit polarizing. Some people love them. Some people, it's just not quite the same. I don't know. I've attended some pretty great ones over the last couple of years.
Yeah, Brendan says in the chat, too many is an easy estimate. Yeah, mine I estimated as 6 to 10, but that's too many for me personally. Anyway, it's 2 Zoom weddings. Oh dear. Yeah.
Definitely different experience for sure.
Yeah, the blessing of this technology that has allowed us to, for those of us who have this technology in the world, to be able to stay connected is obvious. Can't go without saying that we're grateful for that. But it doesn't replace in-person gatherings.
Yeah, absolutely. But next best thing, I think, if you can't be together, it's wonderful to be able to see each other this way.
Christine says we did a few drive-by birthday convoys. Yeah, I went to 2 drive-by graduation parties. I think we went around the block 11 times. It was about an hour long. Yeah,
that's quite a commitment.
Yeah, and one Facebook Live and one on YouTube Live. One on Facebook Live.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast everybody just adapted to a new way of doing things and a new way of connecting. And yeah, awesome.
Kim says Zoom weddings ×4. Wow.
Wonderful. We'll get the next question, please. Which of the following emotions have you felt about the pandemic? So when you think back over the last couple of years, you might have felt sad, angry, anxious, depressed, or scared. For myself, I know I checked off all of those boxes, and sometimes even all on the same day. It's been quite a roller coaster between changing media reports and changing public health restrictions and just kind of not knowing where to get your information from. It's been a little bit exhausting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, being aware of all of that as it arises in us is important. It can be exhausting to experience so many emotions in a day, and in response to so many things we can't control is so new in our life. We haven't, most of us have not had to practice so much acceptance for things we can't control, and so it's important we do that. Yeah, if that's a struggle for us, it's important that we normalize that we know it's difficult, and look for the resources that will help us create some ease in our hearts for that. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people have experienced everything.
Yeah, some high numbers here. I'm not surprised. I thought maybe my experience was pretty common to be feeling all of these emotions at some point over the pandemic, and again, feeling more than one of them on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing that, everybody. I've got a few more questions for you. I want to know how your fashion sense has changed over the course of the pandemic. So has it changed? Your options are yes, I'm all about the stretchy pants and the slippers now. You could say no, I still love getting dressed up and picking my outfit every day. Or maybe you're actually wearing pajamas right now and that's why your video is off. I think I've been all of these people. But I learned early on, if I was too comfortable, I wasn't as productive. So I feel like I need some degree of like a belt or like some lipstick or something to make me feel like I'm getting stuff done today.
Yeah, I don't know that I've worn pajamas yet, but I've worked in pajamas. Maybe I have. Not on Zoom though. Not like none of the business on top and
no
sleepwear on the bottom. No, I haven't.
Oh, I'll admit. I know this is being recorded, but I'll admit I've done it. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
The work from home mall. Oh yes, there we go. Stretchy pants on the bottom, professional top. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, yeah, I'm not alone here. 64% are saying that they're all about the stretchy pants and the slippers now. Some people still like getting dressed up and picking out their outfit, and that's great. And 18% of you were brave enough to admit that you are wearing pajamas right now. So I appreciate you.
Yes. Audrey says, I have a new boss that has video meetings at a moment's notice. So routine has to include getting dressed in the morning.
That's true. Or just knowing your camera angles sometimes. How much can they see?
Rita says, just don't forget and accidentally stand up. Yeah. Yeah, we've heard some horror stories of Zoom etiquette being Zoom malfunctions, we'll call them.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Next question, please, Laura. What have you learned about yourself over the last 2 years? So maybe you can answer, I'm more flexible than I thought I could be. I want to practice more self-compassion. I'm resilient. I have great people around me, or it's okay to not be okay. You know, I mean, the pandemic obviously has been incredibly challenging, but I think it's also provided some opportunity to turn inward a little bit and think about what's important to you and where you want to focus your energy. And so some opportunities for some learning in there too.
Yeah, one of the question answers I saw was related to self-compassion. And so when we turn inward like that, if we find ourselves practicing harmful self-judgment, that's normal response to difficult times, but it's difficult because we can isolate ourselves and suffer alone. So if that's your experience, know it's normal. Reach out. Self-compassion is a great practice. I live by it and part of every day. And if you're interested in that, check out some of the offerings even within our network. There's a new self-compassion class starting March 2nd, I believe. I think it's an evening class. So it's available to everyone in our network. And yeah, and of course, you'll share some more resources in a few minutes, Michelle.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Andrew. And all the resources that we'll talk about, and I'm sure the one that you just mentioned as well, Mindful Self-Compassion, you can find that information on the intranet, or you can contact, I'm sure you, Andrew, or the CorpEd team, and we can help you get connected with the resources that you're interested in.
For sure.
So on that question, lots of variability here too, but I think we've all learned a little bit about ourselves. We've all learned that we're, or maybe not all, but many of the answers are around being more flexible than we thought we could be. Lots of us want to practice a little bit more self-compassion. We've learned that we're resilient. Lots of us are saying we've got great people around us, and I'm seeing that in the chat as well. And the majority of people here said that it's okay to not be okay. And I think that's true. A lot of us are just not feeling like ourselves these days because it's just been such a really difficult time. And it can be really exhausting just to kind of get through what you need to every day and still have a little bit of energy and space left to take care of yourself. So I feel like that's normal.
Yeah, it's important in those difficult moments that we take time to, like we did earlier, shine a light on the gifts that are within us. It's like stubbing the toe and forgetting that there's still miracles around us. We still have these gifts, and we still need to shine a light on them and celebrate them and bring them into the world. We're human. We all have hurt and broken parts all the time, and it's important to celebrate our gifts too. What do you need right now for self-care?
Yeah, this is our last poll question. What do you need right now for some self-care to be able to take care of your needs? So your options are access to mental health supports for myself or my family, more mental health insurance coverage, more mindfulness offerings, someone to talk to, or maybe you have everything, or maybe you're not quite sure what you need right now. And if there's anything that you didn't see on that list that you would like to have or you think would be helpful that St.Amant would be able to help with, feel free to throw that in the chat, or you could send me or Andrew an email, or your manager, or I'm sure John would love to hear from you as well if there's something else that St.Amant could provide.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to know. We just, we can often say that we don't feel ourselves, or like ourselves, or that we're not feeling okay. We ask ourselves the questions, what do we need? I don't know. I need an extra couple hours in every day, says Kristen. Yeah. Cocktail mocktail Fridays. All right. A new
Maybe on
contract
Zoom
would be nice, Denise says. Yeah, those are the difficult ones, Denise, for sure.
So we've got our options up here. So most people have said that they're not quite sure what they need right now. Otherwise, a little bit of everything would be helpful. So again, I think that's just pretty common right now to not quite know what it is that you need. So I do want to offer just a few resources that may be helpful. I'm just going to share my screen for one moment. Okay, so I've lost you all on Zoom, but I'm going to assume that you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, we can. Okay,
perfect. Thanks. So just want to highlight that there are resources available. And again, if there's other things that you need, be sure to reach out to somebody here in the St.Amant community and we can help you out. But if you're looking for someone to talk to, or you're looking for family supports, or you're just not sure yet what you need, but you want to take a look and see what's out there, there's three kind of key places that I just want to make sure that you know are out there and available 24/7. So you can always check out the St.Amant intranet. There's a little button right on the front homepage for mental health resources, and there's a huge collection of stuff there. So whether you're looking for articles or documents to read, or phone numbers to call a hotline and talk to somebody, there's videos, there's tons of stuff on there, and it is updated pretty regularly. So as new things come in, they end up there on the website. So that's definitely a place to check out. You can also check out the Manitoba Blue Cross website. If you haven't ever been to their site, that you should. There's tons of resources there, and they've got a whole section about wellness. And they're taking a really holistic point of view. So if you're looking for information on mental health and wellness, or nutrition, or sleep, or exercise, there's tons of stuff there that you might find helpful. And then through Shared Health, they are also doing staff wellness and health booster sessions. And those are available live. You can zoom in and watch the presenter as they're speaking, but they're also available on demand later on. So you could watch the recording and watch it whenever it's convenient for you. And Andrew, you're actually presenting tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yeah, as part of the Shared Health booster sessions, I will be leading a session on mindfulness, compassion, and spiritual health and work and life. we'll be doing similar, maybe even the same reflection that we did today. So if that was meaningful for you and you'd like to do that meditation again live, you can check out that resource, and that session will be recorded and available for future viewing on the Shared Health website as well.
Thank you. So I just wanted to share this photo. This was a photo that was taken at the St.Amant Vaccine Clinic a couple of weeks ago. And it was just, we had paper on the tables for kids to play and color and stuff. And so while the family was waiting to get their shots, they were playing a word game, and the answer to the puzzle was "You are brave." And I just thought that that was a really sweet and simple reminder that there's acts of bravery and acts of community all around us during this time, which is just so challenging and weird. Everybody's experience of the pandemic is unique, but even just through these questions that we answered here today, I hope that you see that you're not alone, that other people are experiencing at least some of the same things that you are. And I think it's okay to be in a few different places right now. You know, we're hearing that things are going to start opening up soon in the community, in the province. And I think lots of people are excited about that, because that means that you can do some of your favorite things and you can gather with your family and your friends. But you might also be feeling a little bit nervous about that, because we just don't know what that's going to be like. And I think that's super normal too, to just be in a few different places at once. But just kind of want to end things off by saying, if you need somebody to talk to or you're looking for resources, there's lots of people in the St.Amant community who care and are available for you. So you, again, talk to me, talk to Andrew, your manager, Doc Health, HR. Lots of people are here to help you and support. So just reach out to each other and see how you're doing, and find somebody to talk to.
Yeah, you mentioned in the last poll question that almost 50% of people or more, I think, said they didn't know what they needed. And sometimes that's an okay way to open a conversation. You know, I'm not myself and I don't know what I need. And,
Yeah.
you know, EAP is an option for that as well. And it's okay not to know.
Yeah.
Brennan says he's looking forward to sunshine and RL parties.
Me too, in real life.
In real life
Yeah.
parties, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can be together soon and go back to the old school town halls where we can actually see our friends and be together. So thank you all so much. Andrew, is there anything else you wanted to add before we turn it back to John?
No, thanks, Michelle. And
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks, guys. Okay, I think that was awesome, and you guys should do a podcast. I thought that was really, really well done, and thank you so much for the message of self-compassion, the message of wellness, and that nobody here is alone in this organization, and you know, encouraging people to reach out. And then the other message of today's town hall was a message of gratitude. So we all hope that you heard and felt that today. So with that, I'll send you off for the rest of your day. And thanks so much for everyone for making the time to attend today. And also, this is recorded, and we are going to be sharing the link so people can watch it later on if it's more convenient. So feel free to share that information with your colleagues. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.